Aaron, what is our second main topic today?
Dr. Nick says, I just learned
Dr.
that though...
Nick.
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, it's a Simpsons thing. I can't help it.
Okay. I just learned that though Hogwarts Legacy is not being released until February 10th, it is the #1 best-selling game on Steam. Why do you think this franchise is still so popular? And do you see this game's success as evidence that we will see more Harry Potter movies in the next 5 years?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, Dr. Nick. If at Universal Studios, when you go into the Simpsons area, they've got Dr. Nick's office there, and a shingle that says, if you can stick it in, we can pull it out. And I'm just like, I look at that every time I walk by and kind of
And
giggle
then you
a
get the
bit.
big donut.
It's so, anyway, yeah, okay, look. When you're looking at something like upcoming video game performance and all that kind of stuff, like games are coming, going, there's no denying when they first announced this Hogwarts Legacy game, there were a lot of people who got pretty excited about it. My wife being an extreme one of those. I mean, my wife loves the Harry Potter franchise. And as soon as that trailer came on the first time, she was mesmerized. And whenever like we go to GameStop or anything, one of the first things she asks Ray, when's it coming out? When's Hogwarts coming out? Like she's asking Ray that all the time. The fact that this game is still a month away and is the #1 selling game, to be clear, on the charts, it's actually only behind the Steam download itself, and I think Counter-Strike, CSGO, but CSGO isn't a game that you buy. It's just counting all the microtransactions. But as far as actual full all-out game purchasing, it's the #1 seller a month before it even comes out.
Like the Steam software?
Yeah, yeah. So, but the Hogwarts is the #1 selling game a month out. And yeah, I think you have to be in denial not to acknowledge that this says something about, because the game looks good.
It does look good.
It looks good, but it doesn't look like, you know, how, remember when everybody was waiting for Elden Ring to come out for so long? Like people, I mean, this game looks good, but it doesn't look like it's the most revolutionary game of all time. This absolutely speaks to the popularity of the brand and of the franchise. And listen, while I don't think there's a direct correlation between the success of this video game and the future of Harry Potter films on the big screen, but I think you're a little bit naive if you don't think David Zaslav is keeping an eye on this and seeing that, oh my God, like even video game forum, it's the #1 purchase thing and the game hasn't even come out for another month. Yeah, the passion base is still strong. And look, when we're not going to get into it specifically, we'll just acknowledge the elephant in the room. There's some controversy surrounding the creator of the property. But I think for most Harry Potter fans, they don't care whatever the creator's off doing. They just love this world. They've invested a lot of years of their life into loving this world. And I think this, listen, it's, again, not a direct correlation, but I do think massive success on this game will have at least an influence on future Harry Potter movies coming to theaters. We want to thank one of the sponsors of this video, ExpressVPN. Guys, you ever hear of data brokers? They're the middlemen collecting and selling all those digital footprints you leave online. They can stitch together detailed profiles which include your browsing history, online searches, and location data. They then sell your profile off to a company who delivers you a targeted ad. No biggie, right? Well, you might be surprised to learn that these same data brokers are also selling your information to government agencies like the Department of Homeland Security and the IRS. And you don't want the tax man showing up your door because of some search you did on your phone. So mask your digital footprints and protect yourself with ExpressVPN. One of the easiest ways for brokers to aggregate data and tie it back to you is through your device's unique IP address, which also reveals information about your location. When you're connected to ExpressVPN, your IP address is hidden. That makes it much more difficult for data brokers to identify who you are. ExpressVPN also encrypts 100% of network traffic to keep your data safe from hackers on public Wi-Fi. So make sure your online activity and data is protected with the best VPN money can buy. Visit expressvpn.com/Campea right now and get 3 extra months free through my special link. That's expressvpn.com/Campea. I don't know, Aaron, you had a chance to hear about that. You're hearing people are buying this game at this rate. There have been a lot of talk going on lately about more Harry Potter movies. Do you think one could influence the other, or are they just really two separate things?
I think they're completely separate things. I asked Tom about this because as you all know I am not exactly so versed in the game world. And so sometimes I have to defer to my better half. And he brought up a really good point. He said, look at the game Half-Life, which I was able to do some reading on, and it was also the #1 game on Steam. And it won, 50 different awards, and it was considered the best first-person shooter game of all time for a while. Mm-hmm. And where is the big successful Half-Life movie based on that? I think that there was a project that came out. It was a Canadian movie, I believe, that came out in 2009, but I don't even know if that's the same thing. We really and we've talked about this a lot on the show, that just because something is successful in the world of gaming, that does not always translate to success in the world of a narrative storytelling, in the world of filmmaking. I don't see this translating into a movie for a number of reasons. J.K. Rowling and, whatever's going on with her completely aside. We had the movies coming out that were based on the books. So there was a very clear story. And if you loved that book, you would love that movie. And if you could always then go watch the movie and then come back and read the book that it was the source material. I don't know what the story of Hogwarts Legacy is. I'm assuming that this means that we have moved beyond Harry Potter. And so the challenge of, having Daniel Radcliffe, who is at this point, of course, too old to play Harry Potter and probably wouldn't want to come back and play Harry Potter anyway. But I'm assuming that this is a whole new cast of characters. So it really depends on if you're going to revive this franchise, that is a lot of capital to invest in, in something that is potentially problematic. So, and considering that this is not based on the source material of a book, but based on the source material of a game that's
I don't think anybody's suggesting or asking that they're going to turn Hogwarts Legacy into a movie, just that the popularity of the world itself would mean that Warner Brothers, because David Zaslav has mentioned that he's very much interested in getting more Harry Potter movies done. And if this game succeeds, not that they would turn the game into a movie, but just that the success of the game really bolsters and letting Warner Brothers see just how popular this IP still is amongst fans today. If that will kind of move the needle for them.
Yes, but again, you're not going to have the 3 main stars, and then also we've lost several of the actors.
That's another debate about whether or not you would have the 3 main stars. Because the reality, while Rupert's doing the show on Apple Plus, and Emma's had some success when it comes to her own stuff, and Daniel being incredibly gifted,
Emma's had a lot of success doing her own stuff, which is not in front of the camera. And I applaud her. She's very political. She's very much an activist. And that's what she seems to want to focus on. So I can't imagine any of them wanting to go back and do it.
I think they would. I think they would. You know what? And I didn't think that before the HBO special, before the HBO 20th anniversary special, when you saw like how much of this is still so beloved to them, to the fans. I don't know. Rob, you had a chance to look at this. What do you think?
Well, I think, John, that the Harry Potter franchise is now the better part of almost 30 years old now.
Yeah.
It is a universe and a world that people, the reason those books became so popular is I think everybody who read those books imagined themselves in that world. They wanted to hang out at Hogwarts. They wanted to be a student there.
They wanted an owl to come to their window.
All of those things. They wanted to play Quidditch. And I think that now this entire, look at the Harry Potter land at Universal that you guys like to go to.
Yeah. It's impressive. It's very impressive.
And the world is a world that's inviting in terms of our imaginations. And there's multi-generations of people. This game is like a sandbox game, too. You can wander around. It is wish fulfillment for 3 generations of people. I get to finally descend into the world of Harry Potter. I have a playable character, and I get to experience all of these things. I think as a video game, it's genius. I think it's going to be monstrously huge, and people are going to be playing it probably for the rest of their lives. Now, this is a franchise like Fantastic Beasts, which is interesting because Fantastic Beasts has not, I don't think it was a bad franchise, but it was created off the back of the Harry Potter franchise. And there's a lot of good stuff in it. I liked a lot of the performances and everything, but it wasn't Harry Potter. It was an adjunct. It was like the Bourne Legacy with Jeremy Renner. It wasn't a bad movie, but it wasn't Jason Bourne. So I don't think the video game is necessarily going to inspire a new movie. However, I think David Zaslav's #1 priority next to getting DC on track, even above that, is to bring back those 3 kids and make adult Harry Potter films. I think that's their #1, and they'd be stupid not to. And I think even the controversy with J.K. Rowling is very limited in terms of its scope with certain people. A lot of people don't even know about that. And so I don't think, and obviously she can't, there's not going to be any Harry Potter without a
well, no, that's
partnership
obvious,
with her.
yeah.
But I still think that the world wants, I mean, I can't think of a franchise that people want more of than to see those 3 kids as adults. I want to know what happens. If you're a wizard, what happens when you're 30? Like, do you use it in dating? You like ensorcel girls at the bar? Like, what do you do if you're a wizard? Like, I mean, I don't know. I want to know. I want to see what 30-year-old Harry Potter. By the way, that sounds really creepy and weird. Sorry I said that. I was just top of my head. I wouldn't do that if I was a wizard. But you know what is the responsibility? And now with Voldemort gone, what happens in the world? Do you, as a wizard, do you stop wars? What do you do?
What is the Wizarding World's equation of Bumble?
Okay, so, all right, you know what? I think I might be getting on board with this. And thank you to those in the chat who were correcting me that Hogwarts Legacy is actually a prequel.
Yeah, it happens before, yeah.
Now I understand. Thank you so much. See, we all are learning new things here. But you know what? On that note, I can see that world. If it's not based on a video game, because that was how I interpreted the question.
Right.
Yeah.
Would this video game translate to a movie? And I don't necessarily think that's a one-to-one correlation. But if we're exploring the world, sure, I still have my doubts about the original 3 coming back, but that doesn't mean that, you know, there's still not a story to be told. So I could be convinced.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The Harry Potter game apparently is the #1 seller on Steam right now, a month before it comes out. Do you think that's saying something to the powers that be, that there is still a huge hunger out there for the world of Harry Potter? Maybe yes, maybe no, maybe just gamers thought the game looked really, really good. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.